Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a grand campaign event for you. Our first round is going to be on the downtown, where the HL will lead the CSA campaign on Union, and the Iron Brigade will lead the Union campaign on the CSA side. Off to our second round, we have the Harper's Ferry Graveyard, where they'll swap back to their original sides, where the 11th Mississippi will be leading the CSA campaign on CSA, and then the 1st Delaware will lead the Union campaign on the Union side. Before we get into this, thank you to our YouTube members for the support. If you'd like to support, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. So, our regiments for today: on the CSA campaign side, you have Colquitt's Brigade, 11th Mississippi, Hampton's Legion, 12th Virginia, Pickett's Brigade, and the Irish Volunteer Brigade. Whereas on the Union campaign side, you have the 42nd Pennsylvania, Corn Brigade, Iron Brigade, Free States Brigade, 9th Corps, Midwest Brigade, Davis Brigade, 1st Delaware, and the 1st Kentucky. Remember, first round, these sides are flipped, and then they'll switch back to their correct sides for round number 2. Current server pop right now is 216. Imbalance is 6 towards the CSA side. Union doesn't have artillery, but CSA does, and they have 6 guys on it. So this imbalance is 2 in favor of the CSA side. I will also note that Flores recommended showing the glorious names of the 11th Mississippi because they have a common word of lotion in it. You know who we're talking about with that. So, with that all being said, frontline reporters for today, representing your Union campaign side, who's on CSA for this round, you got Lucian, and then on the CSA campaign, who's for Union this side, or for this round, you have Doug from the Colquitt's Brigade. Appreciate these guys so we can see what's going on the ground, while also seeing on what's going on in the sky. So, downtown, it's a pretty simple map, and here we go. CSA going in almost right away. That's all they can do on this tiny map. We'll talk more strategy in a second, but for now, CSA charging in, trying to distract Union so that they can get those 4 flags that are on the right side of your screen. They're trying to get it across this little road here and get it into the houses on our left side. And they have to slightly run out of bounds to do that, and Union, for the most part, kind of just let CSA do that. CSA getting 3 flags over there, 1 flag pulling back, and see, this is a great start for CSA. Sure, they're down a little bit on tickets, but this is about as good as you would want. Now, if you're Union, you can't let CSA sit back here with flags spawning in a bunch of guys. It actually looks like they only got 2 flags through, but still better than none. So, that's the gist of downtown. CSA has to push through where they did, or push through on this Union left side where they have that stone stairwell, and they've just got to get a hold somewhere on this side of the road, and generally where they're holding at is the place they would do that. Now, after they get the flags over here, they respawn, everyone reform, they'll then push up, and they're able to harass the Union, completely flanking their pretty strong defensive position. Now, I don't understand. Only 12th VA and HL and PB guys are really going for the CSA group. I don't know why, as Union, you would let CSA form up back here. It's like, you have a defensive line, you don't want the enemy forming up behind you on your flank, right? So, besides all of this, CSA has a 24% ticket advantage on this map, which is a fair amount. However, historically, Union has done really, really good on this map, partially because of the weapons on this map. Union has the 9th Vermont with the Enfield, but more importantly, they have the 12th New York Militia with the option of the Springfield 55 or the Springfield 42. So Union's got a bunch of buck and ball shotguns, and then on the opposite end, the CSA side, they've got the 2nd South Carolina with the option of the Enfield and the Springfield 61. They also have the 5th Alabama with the Mississippi or the Whitworth, which I didn't know that CSA had the option of that. It's probably just the NCOs on this map, but you don't usually see this map played that much more because, again, usually the strategy of this map is CSA bonsai charges and the Union hopes they can stop them, and most of the time they do. But Union finally is pushing in. I don't know why they waited so long to push in. You can see they're kind of doing a flanking maneuver. They're going out of bounds through this house to hit where their flags are, but they're also going center side. And good response from Union. Took a while, but, you know, I can appreciate them doing this. And they are going to get 2 CSA flags down, which CSA is going in again. A little confusion from CSA side for if they should try to bring the flag or not. You can see the casualty amount here with the bodies on the ground. But Union pushes CSA off, but they keep a few guys alive here. It looks like first Kentucky, first Delaware. You got FSB guys up on top shooting down as well. And they're going to be able to get these CSA respawns back in. Tickets fairly even, CSA slightly up, and that's something you don't see too often on this map, is CSA being up on tickets. Usually it's a curb stomping, but, oh, Lucian gets a shot off. Big boy Lotion gets killed, though, by Lucian. I'm sure he likes that a lot. The Surrenderer of Chicago, though, gets him.
Kill these pricks.
Coke Ping Lotion. Yeah, if you don't understand the Lotion stuff, it's making fun of Lucian. So if you ever see a comment on a GC video, it's pretty funny. Slap on Lotion. Anyways, that's the thing. Union campaign needs to find a win. They haven't been able to win a lot, at least it seems like in a while. They haven't won a battle in this campaign. And I don't know how it's affecting the overall battle. However, they probably need to win to do well in the campaign, you'd think. So, CSA is getting some more respawns. CSA is also kind of trickling forward here in the center. Both sides drop to engage.
Dude, I am lagging so bad.
They're trying to get back behind the thing.
I don't know if Union just doesn't realize CSA was still alive back there, but, I mean, props on CSA. I think, do they still only have 2 flags back here? It looks like they only still have 2, so those other 2 flags are probably where they're forming up there. So, I mean, CSA's now up on tickets. CSA already doing CSA already things. They've got I mean, we can briefly look up top here, but here we go. But yeah, they rolled the gun up a little bit from the traditional spot. I think the gun would much rather be aimed downward. So, with that all being said, Union's now down about a fourth of a stage, and you got some Union trying to countercharge the CSA out. And Union's trying to do a little end around. CSA maybe see that, and they go in trying to hit the side of that. It's not a terrible idea.
Stop and go! Stop and go!
Get these fucking flags. Kill these flags. Kill these banners.
And Union gets through the wipe again, but again, they have to kill all but 3 CSA guys. Or all but 2, rather, to fully push them off. And that's the issue, is they're not. CSA get a 3rd flag over here as well. So, they get all 4 flags. Union's making big mistakes here. I don't know if they don't realize or they think they can hold fine, but, you know, there's ways to lose this map as Union, and this is the biggest way to lose. So, I don't know if I've seen CSA do this well on this map in a long time, because normally CSA just charges in to one of these sides and they get killed, but I guess CSA not worrying about the charge and just trying to get the flags back here seems to be the working strategy. So,
pull back, gentlemen, pull back. Pull it back.
I don't know if they know.
On the new line, CQB.
On the line, boys.
Yeah, get in it.
And Union's kind of backing off of that traditional line. You could tell where the line was based on the bodies, but
Keep an eye on the right.
Hold your loads, boys. Hold your loads.
Space on then.
Eyes right, gentlemen. Eyes right.
But what's going to happen at this point is once CSA gets swarmed up and wants to charge, they can just push down through here. It's a little tight, but they can push through here and charge into the Union side, and it's not going to be fun for Union. And it actually looks like Union's just kind of giving up on this.
Holy shit.
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing, at least in the Union chats on the frontline reporters, it looks like they just realized they're still back there. Yeah, you got to kill everyone but 2 people, because if you have 3, you could spawn dudes in, because they're in skirmishing, and that's the formation status when you're by 2 other people. If you include yourself, you need to be by 3 people. So, well, no, if you include yourself, you need 2 people. 3 people in general need to be around each other to be in skirmishing. At that point, you could spawn people in with a flag. If you're by yourself, you can't spawn people with the flag. So you got IB starting to push up here a little bit, getting some shots into the Union side. Got the Cope Lotion here, pulling off. So
Get off the road. They can shoot you from the railway bridge. Get off the road. They're shooting you from
Union's gonna have to change their strategy fast. Oh my goodness, they're rolling up to volley.
Get off the road. They're on the railroad.
Well, I don't know if any one of those shots hit, despite the amount of bullets going through. Jeez.
Братья, насмерть.
So Union's got to change something up. They could let CSA cap and then try to push him into last stand. That's definitely a viable strategy, almost one I would recommend at this point. You see it a lot on Shenandoah Street, which could have been the other map for today, however, was not the case. We got a Harper's Ferry instead, which I am pretty sure the team picking was the Union team, and you don't want to play as Union on Shenandoah Street, so you get the pick.
I wouldn't pick that though.
Let's go. Let's go.
Right down there. Be careful, boy.
Down the left.
Hold your fire then.
Good shit. Good shit.
And CSA's not really charging. I mean, a lot of their guys are just, I mean, sure, they're taking shots. They're not hitting a whole lot. But granted, they got 33 minutes on the clock. They can do whatever they want. But if they want to go for a speed run, which a speed run category for War of Rights would be pretty cool.
Все на благо севера.
Эта тактика просто пиздец.
Ну ладно, по-тихому мы вроде хорошо идем.
Bulk VA, pull it back.
Move it back.
There we go, boys. Over the fence. Back here.
Union kind of shifting their lines, falling back a little more, just trying to get out of sight. See, I think CSA doesn't really want to get involved with the Union buck and ball at closer range.
Let the flag through, guys. Make room for the flag.
Stand next to me. Stand next to me, Ken. You would die
But we'll see what they do. Looks like some are starting to pop up center of the road. Maybe Union's trying to get them into the point. I don't know. Union's not down by a whole lot of tickets, so an early cap might not do a whole lot for Union. And CSA drops. Where's the Artie? Could be some juicy shots for CSA. CSA maybe pushing up a little more. I mean, their blob is still generally back here. What are they? Yeah, it looks like they have the position. They don't want to lose it. They got plenty of time to shoot this down. And you can't blame them for it, per se. Yeah, Union's just kind of hunkering down, kind of baiting the CSA to charge in at them. Trying to maybe use that buck and ball to their advantage. Although Union's not in a very great spot. Even with having the buck and ball here. Because normally if Union folds on that first defensive line, and CSA get behind them like they have, usually you don't see Union winning that many matches at that point. And you got some CSA pushing out into the center road here. Midwest and First Kentucky doing that. A lot of those shots going over. Just by a little.
Sorry, Jason. I can't handle just sitting back doing nothing.
No, neither can I fucking
Why can't we
hate
fucking
this.
attack? We have the advantage.
Fucking hate
We have the
this.
spot. We're just sitting there with our hands up.
Think somebody forgot their balls at home. Fuck is this?
This is why we lose every fucking week.
Yeah, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I mean, CSA's on a good trajectory to win. There's no reason to not charge, but there's no reason to... I mean, neither option's bad for CSA at this point. It's just how aggressive you want to kind of play it. Which, Union campaign, I mean, they're pushing up a little more here. 42nd starting to push a little forward. I mean, they're trying to find an angle where CSA or the Union or CSA campaign's at, which, I mean, they kind of have angles. I can see them, which that was a hit there from Feeblemont. Sorry if I butchered that. Feeblemont.
Two of them coming down the road.
Keep the shots up, FSB. Keep kicking them in the fucking teeth.
But I mean, yeah, look at it. I mean, since we've really seen this shootout, right? CSA had taken losses, but Union, they're down 2/3 of the morale stage right now. This is just a slow death for the Union. And the thing is, Union can't turtle that far back. Oh, can they? Why am I still on? What the heck? Union could for sure get back. Like, they could turtle over here. And I mean, CSA might be able to see them from a distance. I don't know where out of bounds is for the CSA side. I mean, if I'm out of bounds here, it's out of bounds for CSA. And they can kind of see this, but turtling might be a little too late, because even though Union can kind of get into good spots, it's not.
Oh, my good friend Bertie.
They're not like totally concealed. And in a 4th of a morale stage, CSA is going to force the Union into breaking, and they can cap and win this game.
Up around by Kappa, you'll never find him there. Oh, the only gun he'll get there is an Armalite and a Zare. Oh, I got a brown blue shiny head and a pair of kinky boots. I got a lovely new flak jacket and a lovely car suit.
So, Union surging through the point, realizing that is about to happen. And at this point, Union Campaign's probably going to get their first win in this event in a very, very, very long time. Unless Union miraculously pushes CSA out here, which could happen. And even then, chance of Union winning is slim. They're about to get breaking. There they go. They're starting to get back to these flags. The charge is kind of a mix, though.
Give those flags, give those flags, give those flags, give those flags.
CSA dropping over half a stage there. And CSA, for the most part, hold the line. And that's pretty dang near good for CSA. I mean, Union's starting to drop their braking as well. CSA is probably not going to push. I mean, they could go for point if they want, but they could also just sit back and kind of shoot this out. But Union holding on point here. Again, I don't think they realize that CSA still has guys spawned in with the flags. That's probably been Union's biggest mistake this whole time, is not seeing that.
Shit, there's lots of them there.
So that's really been the Union mistake this entire time. Is they just don't fully wipe the CSA, and now you got Lucian throwing lead right there into the 12th VA. Some IB guys are charging in there. CSA can afford a little bit of a ticket difference right now. Some CSA just going to reform with the rest of their team. And Union now countercharging, trying to get them out, which at this point, Union's going to have to charge with their whole team if they want to try to push CSA out, which it looks like they're going to do that.
Behind, boys, behind.
CSA, it's breaking. Union morale is dropping. And this ticket difference is still substantial. Union actually finally wiped CSA for the first time today on this backside. However, they're almost down to the last stand. You got some more intermittent charging happening up here.
I could go for Chinese.
How'd that guy get hit? He was aiming way off.
We reserve the right to sell you.
Come on, Ed. Come on, lads. You ain't got fucking nothing.
Meanwhile, Union's kind of backing off, holding at the stairs, which is kind of going to let CSA get back to those flags, which the only shot Union has is by doing this, per se. Is by making sure CSA can't get those flags, which Lotion Fent Dealer was missing some of those stabs. He got the kill in the end. Can he get 2? He gets 2. Oh, and there he goes. Wow. Who shot him? Pookie. And Union hits last stand, so if they die, they don't come back. If they were dead, they spawned in.
We fucked.
A horse,
Shit, we fucked.
And for the first time in numerous weeks, you maybe could argue in numerous months, from my memory, the Union campaign is actually going to win a game. Wow. The allegations are over. Union campaign can actually win matches. They might be able to win the whole campaign. Who knows? I know nothing of what's going on in the campaign. So I am simply saying that. As a matter of fact, Union might win. I don't know how badly they're doing. I mean, they did show up the court and there was a bunch of people yelling at each other. It was a beautiful thing. But Union making their last stand hold. And Union's still holding. It's teetering, starting to go back in CSA's favor. And, I mean, the match ends in terms of tickets relatively close, I would say. But that was a good win from CSA. Mostly Union mistakes here. Union just let the CSA get behind them, and they never fully wiped them. I don't know if they didn't realize. But regardless, they have paid a price. And it's a little unfortunate, too, because if CSA isn't able to break through, I mean, you can see the amount of bodies here. But imagine if Union actually holds one of these charges, the amount of bodies stacked up in an area. So, good first round from Union campaign. They finally get a win, which is good to see. It's always nice to see, you know, at least from a spectator. You don't want a lopsided, you know. You want a great finale, as they say. But regardless, good round there. And not much more to say with that. There's not too much strategy when it comes to downtown. Look at that Union flag down to the CSA text. But, yeah, I mean, CSA played that map essentially how you should. There's really not much more you could do on this map if you're CSA. You just charge, you hope you break through, and then if you do break through, flank around, and, yeah, that's pretty much it. Union, you just can't let CSA through, and if they do get through, you got to wipe them out. Relatively simple map, and Union just didn't execute, I guess, CSA campaign. So, sides are going to flip for our next round, and yeah, we will see you all for that in a second. And here we are for our second round, the Harper's Ferry Graveyard. Remember, again, the sides have swapped, and server count is up to 230 now. Inbounds is actually pretty perfect. Union does have artillery, but they've just taken the officer here. CSA has artillery as well, and they put 5 guys on it, so it is a 5-man or infantry imbalance right now in favor of Union, and I'm sure they will appreciate that. So Harper's Ferry Graveyard, it is a 8% ticketed advantage to the CSA attacking side, and already they are attacking this far Union left. They either go that far side or they go this side. There is no in between. And 11 Mississippi is just getting right in there on IB. Which actually, you do have some Union flanking down the hill here, which is FSB. It's a nice little spot. Hopefully CSA doesn't charge them out, because that would suck. 9th Corps Midwest, 1st Delaware pushed up here as well. And Union will hold that a little push. So, the defenders here, Union, they got the 9th Vermont with the Enfield. They also have the 3rd Maryland with the option of the Springfield 55 and the Springfield 42. So Buck and Ball CSA has got the 22nd Virginia with the Enfield or Lorenz, and then they have the 2nd South Carolina with the option of the Enfield or the Springfield 61. actually something I do want to see briefly. So, Union not stacking everyone on the 3rd Maryland. I've seen that once or twice so that the whole Union team can get buck and ball, but it looks like they have opted not to do that. CSA already, nice shot there. CSA trying to put a little pressure, but Union shooting them off. Should be a lot easier to do that with the increased accuracy. One of those flags going down there for the CSA on the side. And you actually have some more Union starting to shift over here. Union trying to maybe spread out their line a little more, make it so more people can see where the CSA is and maybe engage with them. But you almost wonder, right? If the Union is heavily pushing this side close to out of bounds, CSA just ups and over here and goes straight up in the center on the point. Sure, you might early cap it, but you'll get up to a nice position on a stone wall, and the enemy will have to charge at you. At least most of them will have to charge at you on a stone wall, which on any map in general as attack, you want to get aggressive and push up. So if Union's going to overextend like that, I think CSA should try to push up and go center here. So Union backs off a little bit, though. They're still kind of keeping their guys on this far side. So that window of opportunity is always there for the CSA if they want to take it.
Up and over, Lippin, up and Let's over. Go, up and over, up and over. Rock, up and over, Severus, up and over.
Hey, my solution. My solution.
So CSA still grouping up on this side. And, I mean, they've got a heck of an angle. You can just kind of see what they're seeing down there. As Mississippi and CQB are pushing up, trying to go around the side. They're making their second push-up attempt as a team now, but I'll cut back if he's looking upward. However, it's a steep little angle here. CSA is probably betting on Union having to move over the ridge. You can see Union has to crest a little bit in order to get these shots. And CSA should be pre-aiming those spots already. And overall, ticket slightly in CSA's favor right now. But the billion-dollar question is, can the Union campaign, who's now on Union, go 2-0 today? This is, I mean, it's definitely possible for Union to pull this map off. It's one of the more, it seemed to be one of the more balanced maps these days. Union, I think Union wins it more, but I might not be entirely remembering right. I'm a little tired, but regardless, I mean, past results don't necessarily indicate future result. They generally do, but
take a shot and pull back. Pick up the flags. Yep, well done. Take a shot and pull back. Sorry.
CSA holding here for a little longer than before. They're also not staying up in the areas where Union was able to shoot them off. Union defense, they have some guys in the center. First Delaware looks like they're holding there. And first Kentucky is pushing around this far CSA left side, and I think they're out of bounds, if not on the edge of it, and they're going to run behind and cause a little havoc here. I don't know if this is great for their tickets, however.
Hey Jam, how are you doing, Jam?
Oh, minus.
Wait, what the fuck? Oh, where, guys? Right, back to Tim.
However, I guess they went in there, got their kills, and if they get out, that's not bad. That's not bad there. Generally a little risky there. HL, PB are pushing up along this side. Maybe they're putting some more pressure on the Union center here, which is kind of weak, but granted, none of the CSA's going center.
Behind the rock, I want a bit behind the rock before anyone else can get here.
New line, boys, new line.
Flag up, good, flag up.
Блять, такие охуенные камни.
Get your line.
Grenada!
So, Mississippi as well, pushing up towards the center. HL back up behind the wall. Ticket's still fairly even here. I mean, that 8% ticket advantage is going to give some leeway to the CSC side, but not a significant amount. I am seeing 3730 put in the chat. The officer's in a Steam chat, so maybe it's just saying, hey, we're going to charge here at this time. Who knows? Maybe that's why we see some of that CSA movement towards the center. Another interesting note is that if I'm Union and I see or notice that the CSA has stopped shooting me, that probably means they're going to charge soon. And speaking of which, they push up again. See, again, Union's putting a lot of pressure. Just cut to the center. I mean, you might be exposed for a second. However, the thing is that if you're an attacker, or anyone really, right, and you sit and have an independent shootout with your opponent for a while, and then all of a sudden your line stops shooting, your opponent might be like, huh, they've stopped shooting. That means they're either going to move or they're going to push up or charge, which the more likely scenario is if someone's shooting at you for a while in this game and they stop, they're most likely going to charge or push up really close to your lines. And it can kind of be a giveaway as an attacker, kind of showing what you're about to do. I almost wonder if as an attacker you just go right away. Like, sure, some of your guys don't have loads, but the defenders, some of them won't have loads if you do get into a charge. CSA pushing up like this, I guess it's not as bad of an idea, per se, to make sure everyone can get back and get their lows, but regardless, Union's actually slightly up on tickets now.
Gents, just keep firing, independent fire, keep firing.
Take your time to shoot, y'all. Just get up there and shoot and get back.
So, they're doing it again over here, which, I mean, they're getting positive ticket trades, which is good. They just got to watch out and try not to get any negative trade, because I can't afford, I mean, even with almost even ticket balance map like this, you can't afford to make tiny mistakes like that, because if those guys all die out of line, and they do that 2 or 3 more times, that stuff could start to add up over the long run. And that is something that you do not want. CSA is about to hit engage in a second or so.
A little bit more up here, like this. A little bit more up here. Independent fire, direct front, and left go. Keep it up.
Malaka!
I hear him. They're
Come on, pour it in.
I hear him.
But yeah, I mean, this is the glories of Harper's Ferry. You know, out of all the Harper's Ferry maps, especially the smaller ones, this is probably the one that sees the least amount of charging, which I find a little fascinating. But I guess it makes sense with the Union having buck and ball on this map. But I mean, CSA was able to figure it out last round, so, which I guess that was the Union campaign this time around.
Make sure you have your loads and bales.
But I'm intrigued to see the next update. Developers mentioned after a lot of arguing with them about trying to be more communicative about things. They've said that the next update is going to focus on ticket balancing, which who knows what that means, and who knows how much that'll be, if anything at all. Which some of the maps in this game need it. A lot of the Harper's Ferry maps, like the last one, I don't know about the last one. You could maybe argue. I mean, we just saw one instance where CSA did good, but maybe you could argue CSA might need a little more on that map, because most of the time Union wins that swimmingly. You got like Rivers Crossing, which I think Union actually needs a little bit of a decrease in tickets, even though it is possible for CSA to win. It's really difficult too. But maybe you want to keep some maps difficult like that. And then there's other ones like Shenandoah Street, High Street, that are just, it's too difficult for a defender to win. Especially High Street, which, while that shootout kind of happens here, High Street is essentially a point of contention is here. Union has a defensive line here on this stairwell, and then CSA will attack from generally, I mean, their main spawn is like right there, so CSA just kind of push up here, they charge down the Union, push them off their defensive line. Union main spawn's down here, they're trapped down here, and they have to charge up that stairwell we were looking at last round. And it's extremely difficult to do. And you actually have some CSA movement upward trying to run up and take shots. Maybe they're not liking the rate of tickets that they're doing right now. And both sides down engaged. Union slightly up on tickets. I think CSA trying to maybe push the pace a little, are rising up to get shots here. Not necessarily charging in. Are they going to hold this? Looks like a little confusion here. Some... Nope, they're hopping back up.
Is that the other toasty? Other toasty!
CSA maybe trying to get a little foothold here in the center. Union is still a little spread out. But, I mean, they've been doing decent so far. Tickets... So Union's still slightly ahead. You see, like, slow motion lotion here. He doesn't fully crest. And that's what CSA guys need to do. A lot of guys run up to about this half stone wall, and by that point, most of the body there is exposed. You gotta slowly move up, and then once you barely crest, take your shot, because you don't want to fully reveal yourself. Like, look at Fletcher's daddy here. He just doesn't even want to die. He doesn't even take a shot either. So, Union line kind of backs off because CSA have pushed up. They don't want to push themselves too far forward, and CSA is actually kind of going to get a foothold here, which is good for them. Union, though, not in a terrible spot. The issue, though, is that since CSA has kind of pushed this attack and they've stayed aggressive and held these front lines, is that tickets are kind of dropping for both sides at a pretty decent rate. And in turn, that means time is not going to be an issue for an attacker going forward. Which means that the Union side is going to have to find some way to start getting a ticket lead in this game, or else it's looking very good for CSA side.
Huzzah! Gentlemen, remember what I said. You're going to take a few steps back after they come in charging. Just going to get that brace up, all right?
Look at that view. It's just like you're there in real life. You can see some of these guys. I don't know, like motion with the lotion. He pushed you up way too much. Sure, you got to show yourself a little bit to get these shots, but I mean, even if you crest like your chest high, you're gonna be seen and shot like that man there. So CSA still got a couple guys back. Is it's PB for the most part. You also have HL back here. They're kind of shooting across the graveyard, which won't do a whole lot of damage just because everyone's hiding behind a stone wall. It might distract a fair amount of Union, which might relieve a little bit of pressure. But CSA has their whole team scrunched down in here. It's not, I mean, it's fine, but if you have the whole Union team spread out, shooting down to a crunch CSA attack, it's going to make it a little more difficult, so I kind of get CSA spreading this out a little bit. CSA doesn't totally need to be crunched down in these tiny areas. Tickets overall, it looks like CSA is now slightly ahead on tickets, so battle's kind of shifting here, and the Union side needs to... It's really rough because you're defending. There's not a whole lot you can do here, but you got to find some way to get the ticket advantage here. I mean, you could try to charge the CSA. You have Buck and Ball, but that's probably not going to work, if anything, because CSA would probably want to charge. You'd have to wipe CSA and dominate them, which I don't know if that would happen per se. You almost got to wait for CSA to charge and hold them, which CSA's not really charging. So Union doesn't really get a chance to, you know, turn things. Look at that. He's barely cresting. It's kind of, you can kind of see his head. He's not trying to take a shot, though. He's just kind of looking.
I'm here, dog. I'm here. I'm here.
But if I'm CSA at this point, right, you generally want to get an attacker down to engage by the 30-minute mark, and you want to get him down to taking losses by the 20-minute mark. So by all means, CSA pace is incredible right now. they really don't need to change stuff up. I mean, they're slightly ahead on tickets, and as of late, the ticket lead's been growing, so should work out. But I mean, you would think a shootout in most capacities would be favored to the attackers because shootouts are generally a one-to-one trade. There's so many variables going into a shootout, right? Sure, the accuracy of a person is greatly increased with this update. It's at least a 60% increase to your accuracy, or a bullet spread decrease, whatever you want to say. But even though that accuracy is much better, there's still things like sway, elevation, you know, bullet rising and dropping over certain distances. Like, there's so many factors that a shootout generally is a one-to-one trade over the long term. And since the attackers have more overall tickets, they would generally start to get a ticket lead there. And you can see that ticket lead is starting to grow in a huge way for the CSA now. So you actually have some CSA sneaking off along this side here. CQB is trying to go out. You can't... They're just on the edge of out of bounds here, which FSB is kind of holding this flanking side. Oh, it looked from that angle CSA was pushing, but I guess those flags kind of blended in there.
They're beacon independent. Beautiful.
Take him down. Take him on down.
Oh my god, I just watched that dude get dropped.
So CSA on the back end push up a little bit, but my biggest, I mean, Union's okay. They're condensing in the middle, but Union just doesn't want to get too spread out, because if Union keeps backing off this way, they're going to move further and further away from the point. CSA almost has a quicker access to the point than the Union does, and Union drops to taking losses first.
I love winning. I love winning. I love winning.
Morris, you didn't win the thing we were doing earlier today, so I don't know if you really love winning that much if you lost earlier today. For those, most of you don't know what that means. We did a little game earlier today. A couple of the GC leaders and some other people did, and that video should be up not next week, but the week after that, I'm guessing. It was a fun little video. Anyways, CSA pushing even further out to, kind of extending their line out this way. Sure, they're getting flanked, but they're just trying to spread out and put more firepower on the Union here. Which Union's now starting to go up and over like they were earlier versus just sitting back and waiting for the CSA to move on the Union. So both sides now are taking losses. 24 on the clock. Again, CSA's in a great spot. Yeah, Union's got to change something up. You generally want to be a third to a half of a morale stage ahead if you're a defender. On most maps, what was that flying? There were like chunks of something flying. But generally, that's how far you want to be ahead as a defender in the late game. Anything closer or more favorable to the attackers at that point is extremely difficult for a defender to win this game. So don't be afraid, though. You got the first Kentucky here with a flag. That shot already shot on over him, but they're holding down the Union right. Oh, Union's actually pushing in, which this is ballsy. Go big or go home, they say. Just like you do with gambling, right? So, learn the hard way in Rust. Don't gamble. So, Union trying to now push out. They wipe one CSA group. CSA realizing starting to turn in them.
Counter.
Counter charge.
And overall, I mean, you got, who's this back here? FSB, mostly some Midwest guys, are sitting back there watching some of their Union friendly still in a melee. But Union pushes CSA off. They get one CSA flag down. The big thing, though, does it create the ticket lead that Union wants? No, it doesn't. Union is still down a little over a fourth of a stage right now, and CSA will get that flag back kind of regardless, even if Union did get it down, because CSA would just run up there and pick it up, whether it be when they pushed up or a Rambo getting up there and getting it. So, and so yeah, that's not what you would want as Union. It's almost a third of a morale stage difference now, and that's beautiful for CSA there. They held that pretty well for the most part.
50, over the fence, hold on the fence.
Gentlemen, if you spawn on the road, just up and over fast. If you spawn on the road, up and over fast, then get your kit.
But I do appreciate that Union's at least trying something different. They're like, hey, what we're doing right now, it ain't working. So we're going to try something else. And if that doesn't work, oh well, you try something else, right? So the glorious thing about Orv rights is that you live to fight another day, even if you die 20 times in the game. So CSA's starting to push up again. And again, Union hits breaking here. CSA can cap and win. They might charge in there. They might not. Again, similar to last round, the attackers had plenty of time on the clock and they can kind of do what they want.
Southwest as well, boys.
Whoa, what the heck happened with his aim there? They're now pushing up again. They're going to try to hit the break. Nice arty shot from CSA.
Back. Shoot him in the back, shoot him in the back. Beautiful. Good shot.
So, I'll be intrigued to see if CSA goes in. I mean, if I were CSA, if you were to play smart per se, you wouldn't necessarily go in, but going in isn't necessarily bad either. It's like, there's no bad option for CSA at this point. If you want to stay with the safe option that'll probably get you the win in the longer term, doing what you're doing now will work. But if you do charge in, it might end the round a little quicker. Potentially, who knows. So, Union's breaking. CSA in their defensive position, or I guess entrenched positions, better way to phrase it. And they're just gonna, they're doing a similar thing to what we saw in the previous round, just kind of shoot them down. And we're really just watching a repeat of the previous round, except on a different map. Who would have thought? And Union, they have some shifting, but they're still holding their defensive spots. Which Union kind of can't back off at this point because they don't want to give CSA free reign on the point, but it's a rough situation for Union. But I mean, Union overall this whole round has not done anything particularly terrible. I mean, I almost wonder if they should try to stuff everyone on their team on the 3rd Maryland Regiment so that their whole team can get buck and ball. I wonder if that's an option that they should have done instead of, splitting this up, because a lot of the engagements on this map, even with Union charging in there, it's all close range, and so if you're a Union, you want to get the advantage with the weaponry. Last time I saw this map, it worked pretty decently for Union. I don't remember the result per se, but I remember Union did pretty good.
I'm in danger! On the fence. I was laughing too.
Hello, Mr. Officer. How are you?
My dog, let's move.
So CQB is starting to shift around. I don't know if they're going to try to push up to point here. Again, CSA has a pretty clear line of the point here, so they could definitely send someone up to try to do that. For all we know, CSA could send a group up onto point to try to cap it, draw the rest of the Union team to go from where their defense is in, and then the CSA will do a little end around and hit the Union rear. Could very much happen, which CQB is starting to go that way right now.
Go, boys, let's go.
And they are starting to cap point. I don't know what the token situation is, but for all we know, Union could just not try to contest this, trying to save casualties because they know they're not going to win this anyways, which we saw this last week on Piper Farm when they could have won the game. But I know there's different tokens and whatnot, so CQB's on point. Union is starting to turn, and they're going in. CSA is probably going to charge up on the Union flank in a second. CQB might just take this. They shouldn't. Which they don't. Flag down. And here comes the CSA. As mentioned. Point starting to teeter, going back in CSA's favor. CSA, it's breaking. Union's down by over a half morale stage at this point. One of these Union groups did not go in. FSB, maybe they're just trying to hold the flank there. They take their shots though, and now they go in. Points going back in Union's favor.
Not really kind. Radius.
Lotion!
You fucking missed.
So Union for the moment is going to hold. I mean, you got a couple more CSA. They've kept their flags up here. Union main spawn relatively close, so they're gunning it. They're all right there. They're gunning it. Meanwhile, CSA only got a couple of guys at their main spawn, but they're also gunning it up here as well. Still have kind of a melee happening on point here. Union holding, though. CSA flag goes down, but that probably won't really matter in the long run here. Especially since CSA are trickling up to get it.
Come on, lads. Help the CO. Let's go. Get a load and get up to the line.
And here comes another little wave for CSA. The one from main spawn. Unit's last stand. They die, they don't come back.
Press T, gentlemen, press T. Press T, please.
I got 7 on flag.
Reese behind you.
Nice CSA already shot. That probably got a good few kills. That one was beautiful. Hey, they made up for it. Hey, look at that. Union is holding the point for now. Well, not a whole lot of Union left, though, as they just kind of go in to desperately hold this. They're still keeping it, though, for the moment. And CSA is now pushing in, countercharging the countercharge of the countercharge. And in the end, CSA Campaign is going to get away with a win, but Union Campaign got the win today. That's the story of today. First win in a long time, and they needed that badly.
The war is over.
But we turn to the status quo for round number 2. Maybe we'll see the same for next week. Who knows? But who's still? Oh my goodness! Is the first Kentucky guy still alive back here? That's amazing. It's like, why isn't the round ending? Union's pretty much wiped, but not the first Kentucky. They're the last Union standing, and they are going to go in valiantly, and they are going to die, but they will go in valiantly, and that is all that matters in the end, my friend. CSA caught off guard. Maybe it can be done, and it's over. So, yeah, good 2 rounds today. They really went similarly. Attackers got to the position that they needed to be at, and they just shot the living heck out of the defender down to their lower stages, and then eventually big charges happened, and the attackers pulled it out. And it's really all you need to do sometimes. I will note that there is a lot of, as you can see on the bottom left, rip lotion. So with that all being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, you can become a YouTube member by hitting the join button below. By hitting the join button below, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord and a bunch of other links in the description as well if you want to check us out on other social media platforms. Regardless of that, though, I appreciate you all being here. Could not do this without all of you here. And we will see you all in the next one. Hope you all have a phenomenal rest of your night.